This post was found on DeviantArt. The image was a Looney Tunes logo, except with the words "read the description" layered over it. The image's description is part of the paragraph below. This post remained up for only an hour before it was removed by the user himself. I was fortunate enough to copy-paste it before its vanishment. I am a college student. I'm looking to keep this project in the dark as much as possible, which is why I'm posting this under duplicate account. I am, however, looking to hire a team of professionals to help me animate a story, one that has a different take on the show than I'm sure you're familiar with. If you think that I am a blind fanatic that isn't prepared to be a director, I will show you some of my work, if you are curious. However, I think it's important to explain where I got my inspiration from. It was a weekend, and I was at the age of 19. My family offered to pay me if I did some babysitting for my niece. Since it was only 2 days, I accepted the offer. I couldn't complain. My family is known for being generous and overpaying for services done to their home or yard. I also needed the money for my hobbies. Speaking of hobbies, my niece had a number of them. She would play video games, watch shows, and show me projects she was working on from her arts and crafts class. Everything worked out fine until I noticed something strange with her behavior. Whenever Looney Tunes played on the television, she would always walk away and do something else. This made me confused because she used to watch the show, but didn't say anything about it at first. It wasn't until just the show, everything merchandises related to the Looney Tunes would cause her to try and get away from as quickly as possible. I took my niece to Walmart and we had to go there to grab some groceries and supplies for her arts classes. As I picked up some colored pencils, I heard my niece let out a yelp as if something had startled her. It turned out that I noticed a coloring book that had Bugs Bunny on the front of it. She wanted to leave the aisle as quickly as possible. I covered the book and then checked out of the store with her. I didn't understand my niece's behavior. I know Looney Tunes was weird at times, but they were still kid-friendly despite the banned episodes. I know it's something that can be enjoyed by both kids and adults. That's what made the show amazing back then. Not to sound like a 90s person, I had to show my niece the light. Maybe I could convince her to like the Looney Tunes again. About an hour later, I finally had the courage to ask her about the show. My niece apologized for her behavior at the store. Despite being startled, she didn't do anything to warrant an apology, but I accepted it regardless. After talking to her for a bit, I convinced her to tell me about the experiences she had with Looney Tunes. She was watching television one night when one of her babysitters was cooking, and it wasn't the actual show. It was a spin-off of Baby Looney Tunes. If you don't know anything about the show, it takes place in a home run by Granny. She's the one who's always beating up Sylvester. It's a dull, boring experience, with most of the episodes having nothing interesting to look at. The cast also had little to no personality compared to their regular adult counterparts. Its only purpose was to have morals at the end, and an attempt to teach kids right from wrong. The icing on the cake is where the forgettable songs. My niece claimed that the episode she watched started off at Granny's residence. The Baby Looney Tunes cast was playing indoors due to the thunderstorm. Petunia Pig is shown running from Tasmanian Devil in a comical and cute sort of way. Everyone watches Tasmanian chase the pig out of the playroom and then go back to what they were doing. Afterwards, Sylvester shows up, entering the room and looking nervous. Sylvester then goes up to Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, who are passing an inflatable ball around. He tries to talk to Buzz and Daffy, but stutters a bit, unable to get a sentence out. He quickly runs off. Bugs tries to get up and go after Sylvester, but Daffy stops him, telling him that it's nothing to worry about. Daffy believes that it's none of their business, and Bugs lets out a sigh. Despite the situation, Bugs and Daffy quickly go back to playing. Sylvester is seen wandering during the home. He bumps into Melissa Duck and quickly runs off after Melissa tried to greeting him. He is then seen trying to hide from everyone, but is found in each attempt. Sylvester gives up after he's discovered 4 times and heads off towards the kitchen. He quickly finds Granny cooking something. Sylvester quickly noticed by their caretaker. Granny looks at Sylvester and tried asking him what was wrong. After Granny's question, my niece told me that the rest of the scene only showed Sylvester, who was stuttering the words. It takes a little for him to break out the stuttering, and says the first line in the episode, "I want to eat Tweety." The next scene reveals 2 days have passed and Bugs and Daffy are now drawing. Their skills aren't that good since they're infants. Daffy points out that he hasn't seen Sylvester in a few days, which causes Bugs to become concerned. He quickly convinces Daffy that they need to find him. The two explore the household, looking for under various objects. It wasn't until they reached the empty room that it wasn't shown in any of the other episodes that Sylvester is found, locked in the cage. This cage supposedly rigged with electrical wires around it, which would have been normal for the main series, but this was shown to be watered down spin-off. A show that had shown no signs of violence or abuse before this. Bugs is terrified, not taking this well. He asks Sylvester on why he is being punished. He replies telling Bugs that he's a monster and needs to get locked away to protect everyone. When questioned about it, Sylvester said that he was only taking Granny's advice, but then it cuts abruptly to Tweety, who is crying while being comforted by Granny. A couple of bandages were being applied to a bite mark. Tweety was sobbing at the pain that he was in, unable to control his tears. "Why would he do this? He was one of my friends. Did I do something bad?" Granny spoke. "It's part of growing up. Your friends will eventually show their true colors and only think for themselves. Everyone is destined to break away and hate each other at some point." Tweety's sobbing worsens. "When you're older, you'll understand." After Granny's speech, Bugs and Daffy are shown arguing. Bugs wants to free Sylvester while Daffy is paranoid and wants to keep him blocked. The two begin yelling at each other. Lola hears the commotion from another room and tries to rush where the arguing was taking place. She is horrified when she sees Bugs beating up Daffy physically. She backs away without Bugs noticing her presence and runs away. Daffy is unconscious. Bugs tries freeing Sylvester, who tries to scare Bugs away by threatening him. Before Bugs can unlock the cage, Granny enters the room. She ignores Bugs and grabs the cage and leaving. Granny is never shown again, implying that she was abandoning everyone. Bugs leaves the cage room. Everything in the house is now decayed and falling apart. Bugs tries to call out for his friends and believes that they were all playing outside before they leaves the house. Bugs shortly finds a straight pathway and decides to follow it. After walking on the path for a little while, Bugs runs into Wile E. Coyote, who is trying to catch the Roadrunner. Bugs ignores the two and continues to his walk until he finds Petunia Pig exhausted, getting dragged off by Taz. When he reaches the end of the walkway, Bugs finds all of his old friends. A lot of the characters were present here. Marvin the Martian was traumatized. Sylvester is free from his cage, given into his feline nature and no looking at his toddler self. He was trying to catch something, but what it was remains a mystery. Upon seeing Sylvester, my niece closed her eyes for the rest of the episode and sobbed. There was more characters present after Sylvester also, but before the episode ended, there was one final line. "The price. This is the price of maturity." This is said in Bugs' voice before the episode ends. My niece broke into tears after finishing her story. I had no choice but to believe her. These weren't crocodile tears. I tried comforting her, trying to explain that Looney Tunes wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Am I right to believe her? Call me gullible if you will, but the most detail described to me by my niece was amazing. Even if the episode didn't exist and was all a lie, she knew how to make up a story. I know kids are all creative, but this was also strange to hear my niece talking about something that is this dark in a kids show. I sat down in my television earlier that morning to catch Baby Looney Tunes in hopes of seeing that episode, but I gave up after a few weeks of regular episodes. I guess I should be present for some more. I have apologized if I've taken up your time. I know this may be selfish on my part, but this is where you come in. If you're still interested in working with me and try to recreate this episode, send me an email. This darker take on my childhood intrigues me. Once I get enough people, I will remove this post.